Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another movie review. This time of a Marvel movie that came out last year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I saw this back when it came out in, what was it, May, I want to say. I saw it in IMAX, so this is the second time that I've watched it now. And I remember seeing it and being slightly disappointed by it. Not hating it, still really enjoying it. Just kind of being slightly disappointed by it. Thinking it was better than the second, but not better than the first. That is definitely the case still after watching it the second time here. I think the best way to talk about this movie is kind of just going through each character one by one, essentially, and kind of going from there. Starting with Peter. Peter's been through a lot from 1 to 2 to 3. He's been through a lot. He kind of is the main character in 1 and 2. He's kind of, I don't want to say sidelined in this one, but he doesn't have as much to do here. His arc is kind of just like, stop running away, like face the facts, move forward, move on. He has that with Gamora and family and yada, yada, yada. So there's not much to talk about with him. I think Chris Pratt does a great job with him. I mean, he's playing Chris Pratt, essentially, is what he's playing. But he does a great job with what the character is, what he's supposed to do. So I'm not going to touch too much on him because there's just not a whole heck of a lot that is, like, super duper important with him. I don't feel in this movie besides essentially the end where he's kind of just like, I need to stop running away. So yeah, we're going to kind of just move forward through him. Let's see who's next to him. Let's go with Drax next. Drax has had a very interesting arc in this movie as well too. Something that was honestly really beautiful. He in the first one he's this man with revenge. And this one, and throughout his time in the Marvel and MCU, he's gotten a little softer. He's not all about fighting and revenge. He's all about loving and being a dork and silly. And so I kind of appreciate that. He has kind of become the butt of the joke, particularly in Volume 2. This one, he's not too bad. And I think it works when he is the butt of the joke, when he's talking to kids and stuff like that. I think that really worked. So I did like his arc as well of just realizing that what he was always good at was being a dad, being a dorky dad at that. And so I do like that. I do like his overall arc throughout, the 3 movies, and then particularly Infinity War. So I did like Drax as well. I like where he went in this movie. Groot. Groot has been... We just love Groot. That's the thing about Groot. We just love him. He had an arc per se? No. He's kind of always just been, I love my peoples. I'm a loyal kind of, I hate to say pet, but he's kind of the pet. He's kind of the sidekick. Love what he did. Groot was just a cool character. So Groot has always been cool. I loved Baby Groot in Volume 2, even if I didn't love that movie. So yeah, Groot is Groot. Gamora. Gamora is really interesting because of the fact that this is not the Gamora that we knew. She died. And this is different Gamora. This is 2014 Gamora, essentially, before she joins the Guardians. And so that's a really interesting thing. I think James Gunn said in an interview he had no clue that they were going to kill her off. And that kind of just ruined plans for him. So he kind of just had to go with it. And I'm not mad that they did that because it is kind of an interesting thing that they do in this movie. Gamora is her own person. She is still a good person in the sense that, she realized the wrongs of Thanos and moved forward, and she did become a Ravager, but she still turns out to be a good person. She's got her family with the Ravengers. I thought that was a really interesting end to her story as well. I kind of like that it didn't do the cliche thing of, oh, we're going to re-fall in love again. she found her own path, her own journey, her own happiness, and I did like that. I did like that, the female hero doesn't just fall in love with the other male hero just because they're both pretty. I'm glad we got that arc from it. I didn't originally love it the first time I watched it, but looking back on it, I do like it. It's different. I do like that James Gunn is always trying to do something a little different. He's not just trying to do the cliche thing per se. He's taking chances, and that is a bit of a chance. I don't think that's something everyone will love, but this is a different Gamora. And again, with Peter's arc also being fulfilled as well, of him moving forward, moving on, I think it kind of worked. So I did enjoy that aspect. We're going to get to Rocket last here. Cosmo is a great character. I love Cosmo. I'm just going through the poster literally at this point. I forget his name, the Yondu secondhand man guy. He's had quite a journey too, actually. The first one, he's kind of got a small role. He's just the sidekick. Second one, we see him kind of fighting against Yondu, going, "What the heck, dude?" And then this one, he is part of the Guardians, and it was nice to see him being a part of the Guardians and playing a crucial role in being a Guardian. So I thought he was great. There's not much to talk about with him, though. Mantis. Mantis has also been an interesting character too. She came in with Volume 2 and was, and something she says in this movie, I was always helping out Ego. Helping out Ego, and that was my purpose. And now I'm helping you guys, and I'm part of this group, and I'm helping other people. I need to do something for myself. I really liked that. That's something also that I really related to. I feel like I don't do enough for myself. I struggle to do things for myself. It's hard to explain, I guess. When I do something for myself, I feel bad. I feel bad because I didn't do something for someone else, and that blows my mind. It's something I'm working on with myself. I'll work out and I'll be like, this was stupid. I shouldn't have worked out. That was bad. I should be doing something for other people. I should be doing something for Chester. I should be doing something for anyone but myself. And so, that's a really interesting thing that I did relate with Mantis. She's kind of goofy, but, it's in a good way. And, I kind of like that she is kind of like that she is a sister to Star-Lord. I kind of wish we had gotten a little more of that. They kind of just... I know that's something that is revealed in the Christmas special, and I thought it was just going to be a little bit more or something. Like, they say it twice, and that's about it in this movie. Like, there's not much to it. I just kind of found that interesting that they didn't do much with that. I wish they had done a little bit more with it. Maybe we'll see it in the future. I don't know. It's really interesting, though, how that's just kind of swept under the bus, it swept under the carpet. You said, well, swept under the rug, So yeah, I found that a little interesting. Nebula, I think Nebula, low-key, has become my favorite character as far as the Guardians go. She was all about fighting in the first one, and she wants to just kill her sister in the second one. And by the end of the second one, she realizes her ways. We see her Infinity War, and she's an integral part of Endgame. And I really enjoyed her character here. She still is kind of her angry self. She's a very angry person, but she always wants to do what's best for everyone. And I love where she ends, where she just wants to build a place that was not what her life was. She wants to do better. And I did appreciate that with her. She really is just a character that has grown and developed. And I love her. She is a character that when humor comes about, I love it. Because just like when she's talking to kids, that's totally in her character. She would be someone that's just yelling at kids saying, hey, you stupid idiots, listen to me. And that totally worked for me when she's yelling at Drax, like, we told you to stay at the ship. Why aren't you at the ship? Um, you know, and then at the end when she's just being herself and happy and just making this happy world, I just love it. I love Nebula. She's become such a great character. Kieran Gillen has done such a great job with her. So yeah, and then last but not least, the big main person of this movie, character of this movie, is Rocket. It's definitely Rocket's story. It opens with Rocket. There's so many flashbacks to Rocket, which was my biggest complaint coming out of it, seeing it in IMAX the first time. And I still kind of have the complaint. They go back a lot. I don't know if it would have been better just to make the first, I don't know, 15 minutes of the movie his backstory. I don't know how you would put it in there. I do like that we find out how damaged of a person he is, and we find out why he acts the way he does. But yeah, it slows down the pacing for me a little bit. I kind of like the story. I think there's maybe a little bit too much of it. I wish that there was maybe just a little less, because it does feel like it goes on a little bit. But I did like it. I do like Rocket as a character as well. Another character I kind of relate to in a different way. Rocket very much is kind of just grumpy all the time, and just pushes down all his worries and stuff. He doesn't talk about things. I'm kind of the same way. Why I'm doing this, because you know what? This is the way I talk. This is the way I deal with things. And I also try to be a happy person. I hide my sadness with happiness. Kind of like Robin Williams. I hope I don't go out the way Robin Williams does. That was dark. Okay, well, back to Rocket. Rocket, he is a character that I really enjoy. I like at the end where he's really concerned about making sure all creatures get out of that ship. So I do like his arc. And I do like that he's going to be leading the Guardians, because it's something we did see like in the first, second, and third, like, and even Infinity War. He is the one that goes out with Thor. So yeah, I do like where we ended up with him. I think that was great. So yeah, I absolutely love that. Last person I really want to talk about is the High Inquisitor. How do you say Inquisitor? I think that's his name. He's a better villain than a lot of Marvel villains. However, all he does is scream. He's a screamy, whiny little baby. And I guess I get his motivation. He's just trying to make a perfect world, and that's really where all the characters' kind of arcs go into play with that, where, none of them are perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect world. We don't want a perfect world. We want our quirks and our weirdness and our, we want those things to come out. Because that's what makes it unique, makes us all unique and different and wonderful. So, so yeah, it did kind of work, but I just think he's really whiny. I think he's doing it's a big performance. He's a whiny little baby, though. I don't love the performance. It's fine. It's one of the more mid-level villains to me. There's not a lot of top-tier villains in Marvel, unfortunately. It's like Thanos, it's Loki. That's about all I got. I mean, I can't think of any other, like, super good villains that, like, I just thought were really good and had good arcs and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's still disappointing for me, but not the most disappointing thing in the world. Oh, and the other person I really want to mention is Adam Warlock. I think the decision to make him, early developed idiot, that was not a good decision. It just doesn't work. The Guardian's story is much more dark and depressing. And I think that's kind of where the humor comes in, is with him, and I just don't think that worked. I think he's a little too goofy, a little bit too idiotic, a little too dumb, and it doesn't fully work for me. So I wanted more from that. He's just kind of there to be there. So yeah, I didn't love that either. The other thing I really want to touch on with this too is I don't fully love the story with this. This is kind of just we need to rescue our friend. We need to save our friend here. So we're going to go get a MacGuffin. And then we have to get another MacGuffin. And then after we go get that MacGuffin, look at, in the time that we took to get that MacGuffin, that second MacGuffin, our friends, they need to be saved. So we have to go save them. And now we have to go do this. And then, another friend has to be saved. And it's just kind of saving, getting MacGuffin. It's just kind of the same thing. It's repetitive a little bit for me. And it doesn't feel like it's, what's the story with this, really? The first half is essentially, saving a friend. Then the last hour just turns into the big epic finale, essentially. I just didn't love the story as much with this one. It seemed a little overly complicated in a sense, even though it's not that complicated of a story. It's just a lot thrown in there. And then you also got Rocket's backstory. So there's just a lot going on in this movie. It was just a little too much for me as far as the story goes. Let's see, what else can I say about this movie? I think the visual effects look pretty dang good for this movie. Considering the other movies that came out with Marvel last year were not good, I'm happy to hear that, happy to see it. I really liked where a lot of the characters' arcs went. The story itself just didn't fully work for me, and I don't love all the characters in it, per se, particularly the new characters. There's a lot of beautiful camera work here. That one-shot action sequence, that's not really one shot, it's really cool. There's some other action sequences that look great. So overall, I do enjoy this movie. I think because of how dark it maybe is, it's not going to be one I'm going to rewatch all the time. I will eventually buy this on 4K and such like that. But as of now, I just, I've now watched it twice, and that's about it. I don't need to watch this one for a while. It just it is depressing. What are you doing, Chester? Did you puke again? He puked this morning, and it was gross. I think he's just playing with a toy here. I don't know what he's doing. He's a weird dog. Wow, this is about a 20-minute review. So, I went through I had a lot of feelings on this one, a lot of things. It is a movie I do enjoy. I am still slightly disappointed by it. Even though I give it a solid grade, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. It's just the story's a little messy, and I don't love all the characters. Other than that, it is still really good. It is a fun ride. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. All the Guardians have essentially been this close to death, and they all live. Groot, yes, technically he's a different Groot, or whatever James Gunn said, but he's been close to death. Rocket, in this movie, obviously. Drax is shot big time by two big guns in the front, in the back. He's... And then Gamora is a different Gamora. She's died. Nebula, not so much. But, Star-Lord then, too. His face is freaking puffy and crap. He should be dead. Yondu went through the exact same thing, and he died. Why does Star-Lord get to live? I feel like Star-Lord was out there longer than Yondu. So why did Yondu died and Star-Lord didn't? It's because Adam Warlock touched him? I don't know. That was something I didn't love about this movie either, where it feels like there's supposed to be these big stakes, and there's no big stakes. So that bugs me as well. Overall, guys, I give this one an 8 out of 10. I don't hate this movie by any means. It's just not one I want to rewatch the way I do the first Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, kind of my problem with it, I guess. The first Guardians is just so much fun, and it's a little more simple. It's, hey, we gotta go get the orc. Is that what they call it? The orc? I forget what they call it. I forgot what they call it. I can't remember. But it's a little bit more simpler, and I like this mismatched team being brought together kind of thing. Even though I hate Ronan in the first one, I just don't think he's a very good villain. I mean, he's fine, but he's just there. I also love the simplicity of the first one. It's just a dance-off for a finale. I love that. What are you doing, Chester? He's such a weird dog. That is my review, guys. I apologize. This one's a 20-minute long review. it's a complicated movie for me, and it's one that I had to really talk about, discuss. And the best way for me to really review it was go over the characters. I really love all these characters. I like where they're brought and where they're ended. So yeah, I also think that's a really weird end credit scene with Star-Lord. We'll see where they go with here. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is needing a reboot, and they only have Deadpool coming out this year, so that's something. They have time. So yeah, guys, I hope you have yourself a great day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and we will see you next time.